Hey, this is Dr. Dean. Thank you for joining me. TradeSchools.org, a site that evaluates trade rooms. We're going to take an inside look at this site itself. Primarily the content of this lecture going forward will be first, that Emmett Moore and TradeSchools.org is marinated in allegations of extortion. There are 3 sites that go to great lengths to claim this. We're going to take a look at them. And the basic concept they speak to is that he publishes negative news about a room, asks for some form of payment, and republishes a positive review or just takes it down. Either way, I'm going to give you some examples of what I've seen on his site of negative news, reversal, and positive news, specifically Kevin Davey, Mess, Axia, Jason Love, and Dean Jenkins. I think these are mediocre to dismal recommendations, and I'm going to point out why. Negative news reviews that Emmett has put out about global trade titans rooms that I recommend, specifically GAN Edge, Trade to Live, and Trade Emission, and we're going to look in detail to those as well. I think these are shoddy, bogus evaluations, and there's a lot of double standards, and I'll point them out as well. Lastly, negative news about Pitbull Trader and a highly suspicious email, and finally a comparison of how we do business between Emmett Moore and myself. So again, thanks for joining me, and let's get started. By the way, many of you might not know this, but there's a closed caption on the bottom, which is a digital conversion of voice to text. It's not perfect. It lacks punctuation, periods, and exclamations, and capitals, but it's well done if you want to use it. All right, let's get started. First up, the 3 sites that claim extortion by Emmett Moore. Let's look at each one individually. Site number 1, TradingSchoolsReview.pro, Day Trader Feed, and Scam Alert, which is Emmett Moore Trading Reviews. Now, the original site that Emmett maintains is this one, and he would have you believe that this is the only one, but that's not true. Let's look at these other 3 sites. This first one here, we're going to call Copycat School. Why is that? Everything that Emmett writes, they copy and post. It's like a duplicate site of him, but he doesn't control it. It's not his site. Obviously, he would take it down if he could, but he can't. So when Emmett takes something down in his site, they don't. So it serves as an archive. That's why I call it copycat. And at the end of every article that Emmett writes, there's a note about the author, Emmett himself. Let me show you that note. Here it is. My name is Emmett Moose, and they talk about his federal penitentiary time and how he does all these bad things. Yes, there we are. And they take this picture over here on the right, and they sort of dressed up a little bit, and it ends with the con man, Emmett Ellsworth Moore. Of course, they spelled his middle name wrong. Site number 2, we're going to call Fake News Site. Why is that? They talk about him being an extortionist and a criminal, and he takes the coward's word, and what he does in terms of defrauding people, and why he was once a criminal and always a criminal, and they talk about this. Now, Avis Trader, run by this guy Alex Soros, in my video The Dirty Dozen, says that Emmett Moore has paid his debt to society for his 3 years in prison. He stole $600 million. I don't think he could pay that off. People lost their entire life savings. You have to be a moron to say that. And how did he pay back his debt? Bake sale? Community service? Get real. Having said that, though, I looked in this site and I could find no evidence or documentation to support any of the current accusations of extortion and swindling. I did ask them for it, and there's no response. Third site here, the Emmett Moore TradingReviews.com, we're going to call the Scam School. They talk about his blogs and lies about nonsense, about something he's never done, which I agree. He forces owners to pay him to take it down or to even put up something positive. Remember, the Copycat School will help us figure out what's been taken down and not. They talk about his time in California, and they're taking things directly from Emmett's site himself. They call him a scam and extortion, but again, no evidence or documentation in this site to support current accusations. And I asked them. Now they're talking about this 2003 case where Emmett, here he is, Emmett Ellsworth Moore, was convicted of a number of charges and spent 3 years in federal penitentiary. Emmett back then in 2003 or 2019, so he's going to age him up 20 years. There he is. So here are the 3 sites along with Emmett's site: Copycat, Fake News, and Scam School. And of course, TradingSchools.org has been reviewed in Trustpilot and given 100% negative. And again, they say the same thing: shady, extortion, complete lies. Most of it's not true. It's not complete. Bad reviews, negative reviews, and you fork over money, he takes it down. and he could extort money from you. I never saw any of this. Not and they could support it either. So tradingschools.org, here we are. The concept here is that he publishes some kind of fake news. He either takes it down or reverses it and puts up positive news. And he does that for money. So let's look at some examples of negative news, reversal, positive news. Number one. And what I also will consider to be double standards and mediocre recommendations, and I'll show you why. The negative news is usually, or fake news, is published here, and the positive news, the good news, is published here on the right. And the concept of going from one side to the other supposedly involves some form of financial extortion. Kevin Davey. All right, so Kevin got 2 stars, and all of a sudden Kevin got 5 stars. And he goes over here to the positive news side. There he is. Right? So the question is, how did Kevin go from mediocre to magnificent? I looked at his site. He trades odd indices, limited trades, and his site didn't change. So how did he get such a positive review? Let me show you that site. I asked Kevin for a copy of all of his performance reports, and he sent them to me, so bravo. These are the indices he trades. Recognize any? You'd have a hard time, I think, don't you? Let me point them out for you. They're odd. Cotton, heating oil, orange juice, coffee, lean hogs, unleaded gas, soybeans, sugar, and wheat. Not so common, right? But let's look at ES. We all trade that, right? Here's his performance report for ES. I'm going to point out just 2 figures for you. Here it is, 96 trades, total number of trades, over 11 years, 11 months, and 26 days, roughly 12 years. So 96 trades in 12 years is 8 trades a year. 1 trade every 6 weeks. All right. And look at orange juice. It's even worse. 41 trades in 15 years is roughly 3 trades a year. So I have a question for you, Emmett. Would you recommend a program to traders that trades once every 4 months? I wouldn't. Did you even know it trades that often? Did you even take one trade? Do you have any idea what these trades do? In my opinion, most traders would just die of old age waiting for a trade every 4 months. Not anything I'd recommend. Mediocre. Mess Capital went from 1 star and change to 4 stars. How come? How'd that happen? I have to tell you, I was a paid consultant to set up the legal contracts, trade logistics, and structure for this group, and I didn't see any change in the company before and after your review. So question mark, how did they go from chumps to champs? Axia, here he goes. 2017, 1 star and change. Presto, I got it wrong. 4 stars and change in 2018. How did they go from stupid to sensational? There's no change in the site. Don't even trade. They don't have any performance. How did they get 4 stars? Positive news. There's Axia right up there with Kevin. So I wrote Axia, and I said, where are your performance records for live trading? And they said, we have no legal right. And they got that wrong. They have punctuation. But basically, they don't trade at all. They have no trades. So I give that an F for failure. And Emmett, if you were to trade, would you trade in this room that does not trade and has no results? I wouldn't. Dismal recommendation. Here's a one. I did a video in 2016 on oil trading group to review, to avoid 2018 and 2019. I've consistently said this is a worthless room and not entitled to any performance at all. Now, Emmett gave him a 1.8 and then reversed himself up to a 4.3. And he says they went up there from Kevin. There's the oil trading group. So I have a question. How do they go from failure to fancy pants? There's no difference in the room. Doesn't make any sense to me. And the pivotal question is, who profits on such a phony review? Why would you do such a thing? And this thing on honesty. You see where he went from 2.5 stars to 5 stars? I have a question. How do you do that? Did you just tell half as many lies or what? Dismal recommendation in my opinion. Follow Me Trades. Here he is, right there with the good news. Let's take a look at Follow Me Trades record. This is 2018, entire year. $100,000 account, $20,000 profit. Let's take a look, shall we? $20,000 on 100K over 50 weeks. Global Trade Titans make 50K on $10,000 account in the same time frame, which is roughly $500,000 on a $100,000 account. So do you want to make $20,000? Or do you want to make $500,000? Almost 25-fold greater profits. So maybe I can ask you, Emmett, if you were to trade, which room would you choose? One that makes $20,000 or one that makes $500,000? Mediocre recommendation. Something else. Let me show you this. Complete transparency. You see this Better Business Bureau rating A+. I went to the Better Business Bureau. I looked him up. He has 19 reviews. Let me show you 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who gets 5 recommendations in the Better Business Bureau on the same day? I give that an F for fishy. Very fishy. Follow Me Trades, there he is, up on the positive side. So why recommend such a mediocre site? Well, if you click on the tab here, Follow Me Trades, it goes right here to this listing. This is the landing page. So this is really a referral revenue site, that's all. You click on that, Emmett gets a referral. So why so many reversals? Why such mediocre recommendations? Maybe for referral revenues? I don't know. Looks like it. Negative news on global trade titans. Let's take a closer look. Shoddy evaluations and double standards. I'll point them out for these 3 rooms. Here we go. First one up, GAN Edge. I was in this room for 4 months before I recommended it as a global trade titan. It does trade truthfully, transparently, and profitably, but I got a recommendation as a swindler. Now, Emmett Moore says that he being GAN Edge, did an Online Trader Central webinar. And Online Trader Central is a company that pumps up nearly every fraudulent trading company that they've written about. Is that true? Well, let's just see. Remember Jason Love, an oil train group that Emmett recommended? There's one webinar, and a second webinar, and a third one, all at Online Trader Central. Double standard much? Seems dishonest, don't you think? Remember this one, Follow Me Trades, that he recommends? They did an Online Trader Central webinar as well. So if they pump up nearly fraudulent rooms, how come you are complaining about GAN Edge doing it? You don't recommend it. Really, it's a double standard. So in addition to this double standard, he writes, Emmett, that Dean Hanley's not disclosing that they're paying him. That's not true. That's a false and libelous statement. In fact, prove it. Show that you're not lying, because you are big on honesty, aren't you, Emmett? Yes, indeedy. He says that their GAN Edge is not registered with Corporation Wiki. Well, neither is trainschool.org. Seems not very honest, don't you think? He says, nor is he connected to the name of GAN Edge. Well, neither is Emmett Moore connected to trainschools.org. Man, not very honest. And he says there's no address for the company. Well, there's no address for trainschools.org. How could you have such double standards? Or are you just forgetful? Amnesia, some kind of forgetfulness. Its registered host provider is GoDaddy. That's true. There's GAN Edge, and there's the host provider GoDaddy. Here is trainschools.org with namecheap.com. And the same thing as GoDaddy. It's just a place to hide. He's been doing it for much longer, for 6 years. Double standard or forgetful. You complain about GAN Edge doing it, and you do it as well. And you've done it for 6 years. Not very honest. Now, I will substantiate that Emmett has provided no documentation to support any of his accusations, none that I could find anyway. I will admit that Brad has been identified as the same trader by voice recognition. I did this in Easy Futures, and that was a scam room. And I will admit that when I asked Brad to provide a copy of his driver's license to verify his identity, he would not. However, none of that is relevant to his trading room. He trades truthfully, transparently, and profitably, no matter what his name is. Trade to Live, a room that's truthful, transparent, and profitable, got a negative review by Emmett Moore a long time ago. E-mini scalping, Trend Hunter, and now All Deadly Trend. Let me show you this. This is an actual performance report, live money, 1 contract per trade for almost 1 year. Real live money. And this is the individual performance month by month. Each month has a statement. You can look at it like this. It starts off with a balance of $15,958, goes to $18,000, so it's a net of $21.71 per 1 contract. That would be 65 and change at 3 contracts a trade. And remember, this is net profit. He subtracts out round trip costs and slippage as well. Very, very good, George. Excellent. So Emmett, which rooms that you recommend trade live cash, and can you compare the profitability of them month by month using their performance reports? Lastly, tradingmission.com, a room that is always traded truthfully, transparently, and profitably, run by Carlos. They got a negative review by Emmett Moore. Carlos shows his performance, gross performance each month, month by month, day by day, trade by trade, showing entries, exits, targets, and profits. Bravo. And he also trades the E-minis and the E-mini NASDAQs as well. So it's an excellent room to trade in and very, very profitable. A+. Negative news on Pitbull Trader, highly suspicious email. Let's see. And the comparison of myself to Emmett. The Pitbull Trader got a negative review, and he got this email from Emmett. If you want to resolve this quickly, you can do this matter for $2,000. Let me know, Emmett. Resolve quickly. What are we talking about? Perhaps the fake news that Emmett wrote. Settle this matter. Yes, we know what that is. And one-time fee. Quick resolution. So is $2,000 a lot of money for quick resolution of a matter that seems to be of your own authorship, Emmett? Is that what you mean by honesty? Now, some people would say that doesn't seem very smart to write such an email like that. But in general, criminals may not be that smart. We need to recognize that Emmett's already been caught once before for his criminal activities. Emmett Moore, tradingschools.org, Dean Hanley, Global Trade Titans. Let's look at the two. No credentials, education, or experience or publications. I state all mine. So I might suggest, Emmett, that you publish your education, your employment history, and your trading background. His evaluation is done in absentee and mostly with weak profit loss. He talks about honesty, quality, support, and cost, things that can't be measured or understood. I am in this site directly for many months, strong profit loss, and I look at track record, yearly profits, and trade transparency. Financials are not stated. Considered by many to be extortion, mine are a simple fee for the original evaluation for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, no additional costs, and no referral fees. So I see. And if you don't believe me, you can see the emails written by the Global Trade Titans in this video are roughly 8 minutes into the video itself. So I suggest, Emmett, that you state your financial compensation and have the head traders that pay it verify and attest to that. My recommendations are designed to increase your profitability and success. I'm not sure what these are designed to do. So this is Dr. Dean. Thanks for listening. Agree or disagree, let me know. And if you have any additional information regarding this video and the content going forward, email me and let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.